Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. Today I want to take a look at some of the most useless talents that are never played in PvP from all three specs of Rogue. We're going to take an Outlaw first, talk a bit about Assassination, and then finish it off with Subtlety. The talents we're taking a look at are both class talents and then honor talents in that same order for each and every spec, and we're going to take a look at the talents that are probably least played for any PvP situations, be it battlegrounds and or arenas. I'm making this video not really to shit talk about some of the terrible talents that rogues have. I'm not really trying to anchor it towards Blizzard devs. I'm just really trying to emphasize how some of these talents are not the best, and I'm trying to point to the fact that we have patch 7.1.5 coming out in the future that will make some changes to rogues. So if we outline bad talents now, maybe those talents will be improved or removed in the future. So let's get right to it. I'm going to be looking at all the talents from... The first one we have is Outlaw Rogue, and it's actually pretty good. I'm not sure who thought of Parlay. Parlay is basically a sap, and if an enemy is in combat, you can't sap them. Parlay is absolutely useless. If it worked like a blind, right? If it worked like a 20-second blind with energy cost, I think it would be worth it. But then rogues having 20-second blinds would be ridiculous. So what they basically did is made it so it works like a sap, but it works exactly like a sap and only works on a target that's not in combat. That is the issue, and that's what makes this talent absolutely useless. I think anticipation is pretty bad for all three specs of Rogue, because deeper stratagem increases the damage of your finishers and gives you the opportunity to have 6 finisher damage. Vigor gives you more energy and high energy regeneration, so you can spam out more abilities. Anticipation just holds extra common points. I'm not really sure if it does anything good. I think it needs to be buffed or changed up somewhere on the talents. Slice and Dice is currently pretty bad. Blizzard did talk about that this talent is going to be changed, but I don't know how they could change it without making Roll the Bones absolutely terrible or making Slice and Dice way too fucking good. I really don't know. If they make Slice and Dice way too fucking good, then we have to choose between that and Mark for Death. If they make Slice and Dice not as good as Roll the Bones, we have to stick with Roll the Bones, and you don't even know what they will do with Roll the Bones, so not really sure what to do there. Alright, let's take a look at honor talents. The first one I have an issue with is Boarding Party. Between the Eyes increases the movement speed of all friendly players within 10 yards by 30% for 5 seconds. The issue with it is nobody brings rogues to arenas, BGs, RBGs, PvP. Actually, people don't want rogues in their groups at all. Besides all the jokes though, I feel like Boarding Party is just not as good compared to Maneuverability or Cut to the Chase, which are actually seen play. I don't think anybody brings out the rogues to BGs with Boarding Party at all, so I feel like that's kind of useless. Turn the Tables, I don't even know. It's so unique and specific. I think Turn the Tables is only good for duels, where you can kind of anticipate enemies stunning you, but as a rogue, I don't even know. I don't think it's that good. I think Take Your Cut is kind of weak. The haste that it gives you isn't enough to compete with Control as King. Now they just drink up me hearty, so maybe both those two, that'd be kind of cool. Cheap Tricks, I can see this being used in certain specific arenas and maybe specifically in duels, but outside of that it's kind of crap. Between the Eyes reduces the energy cost of your pistol shot. You are able to shoot your pistol over and over and over. You would be using that maybe to chase a target. I don't really know many situations where that would work. I like the idea of blind. When your target comes out of blind, the chance to miss attacks is increased by 75%. I think it'd be kind of cool if Gouge had that instead, because then you'd be able to use it a lot more often, and Gouge would become this defensive that's even more in value. I don't really know. I feel like most of the talents are okay, but there's definitely a few that need to be changed, removed, or I feel like all the talents need to be buffed in one way or another. Just slight tweaks, but for the most part, Outlaw is, I guess, okay. Now to take a look at Assassination. And I think maybe the Assassination Bleeds build need to be buffed a little bit, because bleeds right now aren't that great. Nobody really goes hemorrhage in PvP except in very specific situations, but that's because Paladins, because they are present in an arena, it basically gives your healer, whenever they cast a healing spell, to also cleanse, which cleanses poisons and diseases. So I hope that mechanic goes away, but even if it doesn't, I don't know. I feel like hemorrhage need to buff the bleed aspect of the game, and just to make bleeds a little bit more of an option that people actually want to pick. But for the most part, that whole first row is pretty good. I'll just talk a bit about anticipation, leeching poison. Oh, make it something useful, Blizzard. Like, the maximum amount of leech you can get out of it is master poison plus leeching poison 12%, but you're also having to replace crippling poison, and you will never want to do that for PvP. So it basically is that talent option that nobody for PvP really ever uses. I feel like Thuggy is an interesting option. It is definitely better PvE, but maybe if it had some PvP component to it. Yeah, kind of bad right now. Now for the honor talents, and this one is just Intent to kill. Shadow Step's cooldown is reduced by 66% when using a target marked by a vendetta. I don't really know where that could be used. Maybe in an arena where you just spamming Shadow Step to your target, trying to keep up with him in 2v2, but that's really about it. For the most part, maneuverability or cut to the chase ends up being more of a value ability, so Intent to kill just fairly is not even used. I feel like this whole row needs to be redone. Deadly Brew is just that good of a talent. Mind No and Poison doesn't deal enough of damage. And Shiv, I feel like Shiv, I don't really know. I don't think it's all that good. I mean, it has an interesting effect, but it's not that good. Flying Daggers. Oh, whoever thought this was a good talent? Whoever put this into the talents bar, I don't know, but you get a fucking sitting ovation, because I'm not standing up for this shit. Phantom Knights deals no damage, even if it strikes 3 people. For most part, as Assassination, there's no really big emphasis to spread your dots, because like if you spread your dots like Rupture and Deadly Poison and Garrote, if you're able to spread like 3 of them, it doesn't really do that much. I remember back in the day that had one of these talents was, if an enemy is bleeding with Rupture, there's a small chance, a tiny chance, that a Rupture tick will be also applied on an enemy nearby, which would have been so good in arenas, but they took that away. I actually think Thuggy should become that instead. That would have been so cool. Imagine applying Rupture on one target, and every time they bleed, they have a chance to infect other people around them with a full duration Rupture of whatever the amount of duration that you implied, or you applied on an enemy. Same players can have a refresh of the Rupture, so you could spread Rupture to the whole enemy team by rupturing one guy. Oh, that would have been so good, but nope. So, Subtle Assassination, pretty straightforward. I feel like most of these talents are still going to stay for some reason. I feel like this should have been gone a long time ago, but nothing I can really do about it right now. Now let's talk about Subtlety. This one I don't even know what to say. This is more, I'm gonna start breaking everything down little by little. I'm gonna nitpick this shit out of this thing. Gloomblade is just not a competitive. Weapon Master and Subtlety, Master Subtlety ends up being the better choice. I feel like Gloomblade, why don't they make that a baseline? Just so backstab actually feels like it deals damage. Shadow damage goes through armor. That'd be cool. Night Stalker, Subterfuge, Shadow Focus for PvP. I guess they're okay. Talked a bit about Anticipation. It's a dead horse. I'm gonna keep beating it though until it's gone and away with. I feel like Tangle Shadow is pretty bad. Nightblade now decreases the target's movement speed by an additional 20%. Nobody ever really goes for it because 50% as is fine. And if you really have a problem chasing people, Strike from Shadows is pretty good as it dazes people. This just nobody ever takes it, nobody ever uses it, and it's not really needed for PvP. But especially for a spec that already has mobility, you don't really need to slow people down. Envelop in Shadows was a really cool idea to invest common points so you get common points back over seconds, but pre-med is just like so instant. The instant gratification just then and there. Envelop in Shadows ends up being so unique. I think it needs to flood you with common points or be redone completely or removed. One or the other. Now the honor talents. I actually like what they have. Like, couldn't they give Silhouette to Assassination? Shadow Step cooldown is reduced by 50% when cast on a friendly target, so you can like move around and it will allow you to Shadow Step to friendlies for more mobility. I actually think that would be great for Assassination Silhouette, so you could step, if you ever step to a friendly, you can step fairly often, so like cash and traps and such would be pretty cool. I feel like Smoke Bomb needs to be back on talent bar for a lot of rogues. Like there's these guys, Subtlety has a no nonsense talents, man. Just no nonsense right here. But compared to like, let's say Outlaw, everybody has one among these, which is okay. But like Shadow's Caress, oh, cooldown of your ability is reduced by 30% while in stealth is awesome. And Smoke Bomb, like if you add Smoke Bomb for some of the other rogue specs, I think it actually might fix some issues. I feel like Veil of Midnight it's a good talent, it's just in a really bad spot. It is so unique to just melee attacks because they don't increase your dodge chance. If it makes you immune to melee attacks and magical attacks for 2 seconds, I think it'd be perfect. Because let's say like most people are waiting for rogues to open, but they don't want them to get a full opener, so people like stun rogues. With Veil of Midnight, you might find those people that are like really hyperactive and they stun them, but it's like it misses because you have Veil of Midnight. I think that'd be cool. Buff it and maybe even move it around in the talent tree a little bit. Last 3, Shadowy Duel. No one takes it. No one plays with it. 50 energy, 2-minute cooldown for 6 seconds of Shadow Dance. You can go Phantom Assassin for 8 seconds of Shadow Dance. It was Subterfuge on top of it as well. Thieves Bargain is not good right now. It's just the amount of health reduction you're getting out of this basically means that you are dead in less than a full stun duration. So I'd say full stun duration is like 6 seconds. You're probably dead in 4. Maybe even 3. Depends who is hitting you. If it's a paladin, you're fucked. If it's Death Knight, you're fucked. If it's another rogue, you're fucked. If it's a warrior, done. Feral with the game. You know, it's just like, I don't know. I think it needs to have a higher damage increase. I'd say 40% for the amount of health that you have. Just fucking let Subtlety rogues be bursty as hell at a loss of a lot of health. If you ever lock them down in the stun and don't have a trinket, they're dead. But if they're not running Thieves Bargain, I don't know, a different story. I feel for the most part all these are... Yeah, I feel like all this is everything that I can talk about when it comes to rogues and some of the crappy talents that we are given. I don't know. Also, one more. I feel like Hardness needs to be... I don't even know when anybody uses Hardness. I've never used it. I've never seen anybody run with it unless it's like your very first class and you have to grab this and Hardness and maneuverability and la la la. But as soon as you get Reinforced Armor and Sparring, that's where it's at. Those are your 2 big options. So Hardness ends up being non-qualifiable choice unless maybe like a tank. So I don't really know. Anyway, guys, I think this is it for me in terms of the talents that I think are useless for rogues. Something for Blizzard to take a look at if they are going through the patch 7.1.5. I feel like those talents are not only least used for reasons, but they're also pretty bad in terms of its design, especially for the specs that they're trying to be applied to. Maybe like, I think Smoke Bomb something should be universal to rogues. Shadow's Caress and variable options might be, you know, an option for all rogue specs. Maybe Veil of Midnight might even be an option for most rogue specs. I mean, I kind of do like it for Subtlety because it's like stealth based spec, but I don't know, man. This is really all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. And let me know what you think about the talents. Which one do you like? Out of the talents that I listed today, which ones do you actually like, if any? So make a case for those. So I'd like to see what you guys have to say, and which ones you don't. So which other talents would you remove instead and or replace? What would you do differently when it comes to talents? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.